Alright, so we have some brand new updates in regards to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and how it's going to be the cover story for the new Game Informer. So we're going to briefly go over the cover, which looks insane, and we're going to talk about how Game Informer likes to break up their articles and what kind of information we could potentially see from them, and how we're kind of approaching media blackout, so we got to be a little bit careful about the information that we cover. So if any of that sounds cool to you, feel free to click the like button, and if you're new here and you'd like to stick around, you can always subscribe as well. It is always appreciated. So this comes to us directly from Game Informer. It was announced today that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will be their cover story for their final issue of the Game Informer magazine for the year of 2023. And this is a pretty big deal. A lot of the bigger games tend to get this big coveted cover story spot. So for Rebirth to get that, that's pretty cool. Final Fantasy 16 also got that. And a lot of the info that is contained within these articles tends to be exclusive to Game Informer. Now, starting off first with the cover, it is a recreation of the infamous Nibelheim flashback where we see that very scary, evil-looking Sephiroth in the flames, just ready to, go find Jenova, come find his mother, and unleash some more havoc. But it's also accompanied by a new side profile render of Cloud also being engulfed in those flames. So it's a really cool front and back cover. This is definitely going to be a collector's item for some people. And there usually are two versions of these magazines, the standard one that has the regular Game Informer logo, and then a secondary one, which I think you have to be subscribed to Game Informer magazine in order to get this, but they have one that has the gold logo that I believe is actually embossed, so it's got a physical texture to it when you touch it on the magazine itself. So if you find one of these out in the wild, you might want to grab one, hang it up, laminate it, because it will be a collector's item. And they do mention that the art itself was designed in part by Tetsuya Nomura, so obviously he's got some really cool ideas on how to reimagine certain things and how to make things pop, and he's definitely done this with this very eye-catching cover. Now, the important stuff. In regards to the information that's going to be included for Rebirth in this Game Informer magazine, we do have to be very careful about how we approach some of the info in this magazine and what we do and don't cover, because there could potentially be some very spoilery type of things that are shown off, because they state explicitly in their first announcement article that they got to go to Square Enix headquarters for 2 days. And for 2 days, they were shown new information, new footage that hasn't been shown anywhere else. So this is going to be exclusive to Game Informer. So we don't know what kind of info that's going to come out from this magazine. It could be stuff from earlier on in the game, stuff that's a little more innocuous. But again, this is a 12-page cover story. That's a lot of information that's going to be coming out over the next 2 weeks. So we do got to be careful about covering certain things. I don't want to spoil anything for myself. I don't want to spoil anything for people that watch these videos, because Rebirth is almost here and we're kind of approaching, media blackout when it comes to covering Rebirth and kind of avoiding some of the information so we don't have anything spoiled for ourselves. So again, we are going to be very careful about what I do cover from this magazine. If anything seems kind of innocuous and harmless, I'll cover it. But if I start to read something and it sounds more like, okay, this is getting kind of deep, I might pull back a little bit. And I would suggest that you guys all be very careful too about reading these articles that are going to come out from Game Informer as well. Now, the way that Game Informer structures out the release of these things, obviously the magazine comes out and you can read it all in one go, but usually on the website side of things, they have an article a day, sometimes two, a couple a week, and then they usually have 1, maybe 2 videos to go along with the cover story. And sometimes these videos can be very long. I remember when Resident Evil 4 was coming out, they had about a 20 to 25 minute long video going over an exclusive chapter that they were shown for the game. So I would expect to see a lot of brand new exclusive footage. Hopefully it's not from too late in the game. And I'm also kind of hoping it's not too heavy on gold saucer stuff, because that's stuff that I feel like is going to be so fun to explore and discover on our own with our own playthroughs, that seeing too much of that get revealed could be a little bit of a damper. But then they also usually have some really interesting videos in regards to, developer interviews and asking the developers questions about the game, but also some really kind of funnier, goofier kind of videos where they ask these really rapid fire random questions that can lead to a lot of funny answers. So there's tons of information that's going to be coming out. Again, we got to be very careful. I would suggest you be careful as well, but we do have a lot to look forward in regards to Rebirth in these next 2 weeks in regards to the Game Informer coverage. So with that being said, that is the video. I am Curious Corduroy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about that really cool recreation of the cover based on the Nibelheim flashback. And also let me know, are you guys getting ready to go on media blackout for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Again, I'm not going to be covering that final launch trailer when that hits because there's going to be guaranteed spoilers in that thing and I want to be very careful. But I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.